Hi, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight at ChaiShai, etc. My immense gratitude to each one of you for making this journey possible for us. All our friends who have come on the platform as guests, as speakers, all our friends who have come on the platform as audience, as viewers, all our friends who've supported us at the back end. Thank you to each one of you. Thank you to each one of you who sleep early by 9 or 10 and watch the show the next day or probably the next morning. Thank you for sending us all your feedbacks. Lots and lots of love to you for making our journey joyous. We are on the 49th episode, and next week we complete a year of Chai Shai, etc. conversations. And it wouldn't have been possible without the support of each one of you. Today we have with us a very, very dear friend of mine, all the way from US. All the way he is coming to Chai Shai on a Monday morning. It's a Monday noontime for them there, and he is here to celebrate the occasion with us. CJ, as we popularly and lovingly call him Mitra CJ, is also a scientist. He has innovated some amazing stuff which he'll be talking about during the conversation. He is a musician who started with being a bassist in high school. And then from there, today he plays a rare instrument, the handpan. Bringing on CJ. Hi,
Hello.
CJ. Hi, namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Hello, Kanchanji. It's so nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I have been very good. I've been very good. It's been almost like what, 1.5 years since we met in person.
Yes, it has. Yes. And, during that time, I fondly remember my time spent with you.
So do I. So do I. It is rare. It's rare that you have friends who sit with you and pray with you. And together we've done rituals like the Havan, the fire ritual. We've done prayers together. We've danced, we've sung, we've cooked together. It's been such a joyous time with you, CJ. Thank you so much for accepting our invite on a weekday and taking time out for Chai Shai conversations.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be a part of your program.
Thank you. And CJ, as usual, I straight away come to the point and the question. What does spirituality mean to you?
Spirituality is being natural, but by being natural, I mean our natural state that we start in when we're born. Then the mind comes in and it overtakes that state, and we become focused on what's going on in our minds, analyzing with the mind, interpreting with the mind. So I'm talking about a return to that simplicity that we started with when we're born, which is when we're very connected to source, which is right here.
And when did you start understanding what spirituality is? When did you get into spirituality?
I would say it really started when I was about 18, but it was progressing very slowly from there. But I started by reading books from the East, because before that I was raised, in Christianity, but it was just something that I never accepted as it was given to me. And I read the Bhagavad Gita 5 times in a row, and it really spoke to me, and it started me on my own path, I would say.
Wow. From reading the Bhagavad Gita to coming to India, what was the journey? What was the journey like?
Well, you see, I had become interested in the possibility that there might be a creator, a source for everything I was observing. And, that came through my studies in science. So I was also very interested in philosophy, and I was taking courses in college and having long conversations with my friends over coffee. And we were talking about, what may be and what may not be. And what happened was I came upon information that was very compelling to me scientifically, that there seemed to be a space left for a creator. So what I mean is, like, looking at the fundamental forces like gravity, for example. If the force of gravity differed by 1 part in 10 to the 40th, 1 with 40 zeros after it, if it were that tiny bit different, then we wouldn't see stars like ours existing. We would have red giants, they're called, or dwarf stars. But studies of the rate of irradiation coming from those stars and their gravity suggest that we wouldn't have a habitable planet. We wouldn't have what they call a Goldilocks zone, which is just right for a planet like ours to exist. So it just struck me as amazing that our universe is created such that life can exist in the first place. And as I studied that, I thought, well, there's no way to prove it. I can't prove it with philosophy. I can't prove it with
Yeah,
science.
and being a scientist without data, without doing the research, I am sure you wouldn't have been happy enough to follow anything.
So I realized the only way to know was to find out through exploring on my own.
Hmm.
So I had to explore subjectively rather than objectively, which meant I turned to things like meditation. So I started reading about meditation. I read so many books about it, and then one day I just laughed at myself. Why am I continuing to read about it without practicing it? This isn't getting me anywhere. So I put the books down and I started doing it. And that led me into other areas. I wanted to help people, and I was interested in different healing modalities. So I studied different ways of helping people to heal, energetically, working with the chakra system, for example.
Why were you interested in healing? Because scientifically, healing is through medicines, through various processes. But why chakra healing?
Well, I came across this when I was reading, and it was both an opportunity for me to have an experience to validate what I was wanting to know, while also being able to contribute and help others. So it was a nice combination.
And what conclusion did you reach trying out these combinations of science and spirituality?
Well,
Did you ultimately find God?
yes, but it did take some time. I had to put forth effort, what I like to call a down payment in faith, because it takes faith to put your time and effort into something when you don't know what you're going to get in the end.
That's so true. That's so true. So it's first putting in the effort, trying out, and then realizing whether this is something meant for you or not.
Yes, it
What
came good. Go ahead.
what if after all that effort, CJ, you would feel that no, this isn't the path?
Well, of course, if I didn't experience something that I thought was real, I would have continued to explore other possibilities, because little by little, I had a taste of truth. I had a taste of something beyond the physical world. And of course, the mind comes in and it doubts and it questions. But through repeated effort and repeated experiences, eventually the mind starts to accept that which it's experiencing. And so, no faith is required, I find. I came to know the truth. I experience it directly for myself and compare my notes with those of others who were on the journey with me, like my lovely wife, Lori. So together we were exploring, what is out there, what is in here, what is real.
What is real, CJ?
In my experience, it's love. Simply put, in one word. But we all hear this word and we use it freely to mean many different things. So I would say unconditional love, divine love. And that truly has to be experienced to be understood, because people have been writing books and poems about love for eons, and yet they haven't exhausted all the possibilities. And someone who's never been in love can read those and they still don't really know what it feels like. So it's similar to that. There's no way I can fully explain it, but it's like being a cup that's completely filled, and then it's filled even beyond being full to where it's overflowing. I felt like that cup. Like I was so filled with love that it was just pouring out of me. Like I couldn't contain it. It was too much for me. And it was just tears of joy and just wanting everyone to have that experience, to experience that love.
Wow. And how did music contribute in your journey? What was the contribution of music?
Yes, music contributed in a way that I never expected. So it actually started back in grade school. I was playing a viola, which is one of the instruments in an orchestra. But I was just playing music that other people had written. And then, as you mentioned, in high school, I picked up the guitar, and I really enjoyed the bass guitar in particular. And I started to get together with my friends in college and, just play, just make stuff up and jam. And it was very freeing and a way to express myself. But then I found the handpan, and I really started to write my own music where I had, pieces that I would learn and memorize and play again for other people. And what that did was it helped to open my heart, because I was sharing something that was really like intimate. It was a part of who I am. And I was able to share the joy and love that I feel with others through music. So I would say the main way it contributed was by helping me to move this, this long journey from the mind to the heart, because I was able to open up to people. Whereas I used to be very shy, I would go down to our local farmers market and just sit and play music for people down there. And they would come over and talk to me. And I was opening up to people and just having conversations with strangers that I really didn't feel comfortable doing before.
You can go on talking and I can go on listening.
Well, music is like a bridge, and it's its own language, and it's a universal language. So it didn't matter if the person even speaks my language. They could feel something from my music. They have an experience of their own. Some kind of emotional reaction is evoked within them when they hear the music. So I found that, it was helping me to connect to people in a way that I hadn't experienced before. So, it was all a part of my journey of opening my heart and being able to have that experience of love.
When did you first feel that your heart is full and you overflowing with love? Tell us about that experience.
I would love to. That was in 2016 when I went to India for the first time. I went there to visit the ashram of Maitreya Dadashriji, and I was taking a spiritual program there. It was called Bodh. And so Bodh is divided into different levels. And it was during Bodh 2 that I had that experience where I would say I felt like everything was perfect. It was just as it should be. I had no desires in that state. There was no hunger. There was just nothing that I needed to say or to hear. I was complete in that state. And it's just beyond words how amazing it is.
One needs to experience that to be able to explain it, right? Words can't.
Yes. And I have eternal gratitude to Maitreya Dada Shriji for helping to make that happen.
CJ, you've done some inventions. You have some patents in your name. Please tell us about that.
Well, I have several patents through the company that I work for, but those aren't owned by me. But I have one in particular that's taken me many years to get, and it is completely my own. And I would like to talk about that one. So
Please.
it is for a flashlight or other lighting technology that helps firefighters or anyone that needs to see in smoke. It's specially designed to penetrate smoke and not to reflect off the smoke. If you're driving in fog and you turn on your high beam, your headlights go to bright, it's just worse. It's blinding you, right? You just see the smog, or the fog rather. But when you use this light, it doesn't reflect off the smoke. So it allows you to see what's behind it, what's through it. So it's going to save lives because firefighters will be able to see everything in the room. If there's someone unconscious on the ground, they'll be able to find them. They'll see the exits more easily. So they'll be able to get out safely as well.
So basically, we'll be saving lives. We'll be saving, I don't know how many. What will be the number of lives that can be saved through this, CJ?
I wouldn't want to speculate.
Wow, that's an amazing, amazing
But
invention. And congratulations for that wait of 10 years to get the patent. Oh my
yes, it
God.
was. Yes. And
Co-
go ahead.
Super congratulations.
Thank you so much. It feels wonderful to reach that milestone and finally get that patent.
Wow. CJ, tell us about that one moment in your life where you felt really hopeless, and that is the time when you actually realized that you have support, or when you felt that you didn't have any support.
Well, I've been very fortunate in my life, and I don't think I have really been in such a low state. I've just felt like maybe I was somewhat isolated. By my own nature, I'm introverted, and I don't have a large number of friends. I prefer to have just a few really good friends. And so there were times in school where I wasn't popular because I was considered as a nerd, and I was always interested in science. Yeah. And so it was difficult, to be picked on or to not be popular in school. But once I got to college, I had a fresh start, really. So I was able to, create a different environment, a different friend group, and start over in a way that was really much better, more balanced, I would say.
We have some friends who've joined us. I would like to acknowledge them before I go to the next, before I move on in the conversation. We have Anjita Anna with us. Thank you, Anjita Singh, for joining. Arusu is with us. We have Anshu, Bhagyashri, and Maitri Lori. Hi, Lori. We were waiting for you. I hope your doctor's appointment has been good. CJ, why did you choose handpan as the instrument? And tell us the connection between, the science, the spirituality, and the music. How do you think the three is connected, and how did it change your life?
Well, I find that music and science are connected because there are relationships, mathematical relationships between the notes in the chromatic scale,
Hmm.
which is what this instrument is based upon, not like India, which has the other notes in between. That is baffling to me. I've never studied such a system, but it is beautiful sounding. So there are also relationships in the melodies themselves, right? Like we like to hear notes take a certain interval, a certain jump and relationship between them. It's very pleasing to the ear. And I've always been really interested in melody. And this was actually the first instrument I ever learned to play, which was percussive in nature. And so, of course, that requires a little bit more rhythm. I've always liked rhythm, but I was never very good at it. So I just taught myself to play this instrument because one day someone came to my town and they had one of these instruments and they did some spoken poetry while they played the instrument. And
Wow.
I'm very interested in poetry personally, but I was completely fascinated by the instrument that was being played. And I thought it just looked so beautiful, the way his hands were moving around it and the sounds that it creates. It's very unique. So I would say I fell in love with it at first sight. And I went online to learn more about it. And eventually I had a very special opportunity to obtain one. And I just love it because it's.
Aren't these custom made?
I'm sorry, are they what?
Aren't the hand pans custom made?
Custom made. Yes, they can be. And mine are. Actually, the hand pans two of the hand pans I own are one of a kind in the world. They were made custom for me by my request. And I wouldn't trade them for anything. So the thing about the hand pan that's interesting, it doesn't have so many notes like a piano. And the notes that are on the hand pan were carefully chosen. So they all work nicely together. There's basically almost no way that you can hit a wrong note. So through this limitation comes great freedom. And you can literally just close your eyes and play something. And, it's going to sound okay, at least, and maybe good. So I just played around with it and just had fun. It was a great way to unwind after a day at work, totally de-stressing. And I would just try some things. And when something sounded good to me, I would say, I'm going to try to do that again and repeat it, and then eventually they just turned into little songs or pieces of music. I'm sorry, I'm unable to hear.
My mic was mute.
Okay.
Guys out there, we starting the celebrations for the first birthday of ChaiShai, etc. conversations. And me being me, childlike, I had to call in my friends to play some great music for us. So the celebrations begin with CJ playing some hand pan for all of you. CJ, please do the honors.
I
Please
will.
tell us about what you'll be playing and do play it for us.
So this is the hand pan, and you can see that there are different circles in it, and each of these are a note. The one in the middle is largest, and it's also the lowest. And as you go around the circle, you can see the different sizes. So the smallest note will be the highest pitch. Now on the bottom, there is a port. So the whole thing is hollow inside. It's just made of steel. There's no electronics or anything, no tricks. It just vibrates. And because all of the notes are connected on this piece of steel, when you play one note, the other notes also vibrate. And so it's just like when a singer causes a glass to shatter, the vibrations are carried to the other notes and they resonate as well. If they have a corresponding frequency within them, which is related to the one being played, they'll sing along with it. So the whole instrument just starts vibrating and singing. and it creates just a very ethereal sound. So I'll play a few songs for you so you can hear what it sounds like.
Wow, wow. That was mesmerizing. That was so beautiful. That was
Yeah.
so beautiful. And you should not stop. You should keep playing.
What's that?
I'm saying you should stop. You should keep playing.
Yes. That's funny. That's actually,
Amazing. And we have Shebanti with us who is super excited on hearing you. We have Bhagyashri, Anshu. Everybody's enjoying. Everybody is enjoying. Guys, would you like to hear some most of CJ playing the handpan? The handpan music went deep into the heart.
oh, thank you. I want to share just something quickly because you said that I shouldn't stop playing. It reminded me of one of the most special times in my life. I took this instrument with me to India, and I got to play it for Maitreya Shriji. And When I finished, he said something to me. He said, "Your music is filled with joy and love, and you should never stop playing." Just like you said. And so I suppose I'll have to play some more.
Please.
That first song I call Simple Pleasures.
Yeah.
It's about enjoying the little things in life. Now this next song to me, it reminds me of children playing together on the playground. Well, it goes like this. And you may have noticed that I just turned the instrument around. I have found that each of my songs is best played with the instrument in a certain orientation. So I'll rotate it as needed so I can reach the right notes. And the funny thing about this next song is when I first started to try to play it, I found it extremely difficult because I was playing in what I'll call the wrong orientation. And then I realized if I turned the instrument around, it became much easier. And I think it's a metaphor for life. When you're having a challenge, you can sometimes look at the situation from a different perspective, and you might find the solution. This song is called Turn It Around.
Wow. 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 That was absolutely fantastic. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I'm
CJ, I
hoping,
have no words, but I have one more question.
yes, please.
I heard a piece of yours. I heard a piece of yours on Shaman Scientist.
Yes, so that would
Can you
be,
hear me, CJ?
yes, yes, yes. I have my music out there on the internet at Bandcamp, shamanscientist.bandcamp.com. Yeah. So what was it you heard there?
Yes, Bandcamp. Yeah. I
Oh,
heard
the one
light
on
becomes
song?
sound.
Yeah, that was my first album. Yeah.
And I shared it with my friends as well. And we being light workers, all of us humans, we are spiritual beings having human experiences. We are all light beings. And when light becomes sound, when light merges with sound, magic happens. The world is much, much more beautiful when we convert light into sound. How did that piece come into being, CJ?
Well, Light Becomes Sound is the name of the album. And that was from a friend of mine in the handpan community. I posted one of my songs, and he said, "This is what happens when light becomes sound." So, with his permission, I named the album after that. But if you're referring to a specific song, I'm not sure which one that would be. Is it the one on SoundCloud you said with the lyrics?
No, it was on band.com.
Bandcamp.
Some band. I don't
Yeah.
remember. Bandcamp. Yes, you know how terrible I am with names. So Bandcamp, the one which you had played, and I think this is what happens when light becomes sound.
So I understand we just have about
So
five
could
more
you
minutes.
play that?
Is that right? We have about 5 more minutes?
Yes.
Yes. So it just so happens
Yes,
that
we have 5 more minutes.
this is the song that I first played for Maitreya Dadashriji, after which he said, as I mentioned before, that my music is filled with joy and love. And for me, this song was an attempt to convey the deep peace that I felt after my first profound spiritual experience. So I hope that you all are left in that state of peace yourselves.
And imagine me coming across that one particular piece. thank you so much. That that was so heartwarming. I've got my eyes.
Thank you. It's been a great joy to spend this time with you all. And thank you for your time. I hope that you had as much fun as Kanchanji and I have had.
Thank you, CJ, for making this day special. Thank you so much, guys. Each one of you who've joined us now, the guys who will be joining us later, we starting the celebration of 1 year of consistency. Next week, we are moving to the 50th week of ChaiShai, etc. We started it in 2020, the conversations in the last week of July. And next week, our guest is going to be none other than the International President, Meta Health Association, Dr. Anu Mehta, who's also a sound healer. We bring light and sound both into your life. May your hearts be filled with love. May your hearts be full of joy. May each journey of yours be the most beautiful journey, internally and externally. May you each experience divine bliss. And on that note, have a great time, guys. Enjoy yourself. I hope each one of you had time listening to the amazingly talented friend of mine, Mitra CJ. Gratitude, CJ. Lots of love. Looking forward to seeing you with family, with Laurie in India, or maybe I'll need to travel to US to listen to more of the handpan of yours.
Yes, I look forward to it as well. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Take good care of yourself, guys. Good night. Shabbat khair.